All right, we're back in session. This is conversation. What are we doing? PDs. Okay, lead us off.
Al Jensen, Planning Director, Bannock County. Commission, Council, and Mr. Bowden and Ms. Wilder. Ryan Bowden, Aubrey Wilder are the applicants for this particular item. We've never done a planned unit development before, and neither has the Commission nor the Council. The ordinance requires this meeting. To make it very short and simple, the reason that we directed Mr. Bowden to go down this path with a planned unit development is because he's on the edge of the city, soon to be annexed, has signed an annexation agreement that when it does occur, he wants to connect to sewer and water, but the issue is in his development, his parcels or lots end up being smaller than an acre. And because of that, the only option that he has is to do a planned unit development so that he can have direction between Commission and Council on what are the standards and the requirements of the planned unit development. So, that said, okay, I'll turn the time over to Tristan, and she can go over, her and Elise can go over a couple of items relative to what they have submitted for a proposal, and any of the subtleties that are in there, such as there is a particular lot that exists in its natural state at X, not like 4/10 of an acre, and anyway, some of those things that go into this equation, they will explain that to you.
Yeah, so this development is happening in the multiple use zone.
What is your name?
Tristan Borkwin.
Where do you work?
Bannock County Planning and Development staff.
Also state your Visa card number.
We got 3 code on the 3 number code.
And they are going to redesignate during the subdivision process to commercial general. Unfortunately, in our ordinance for redesignating to residential, you're allowed to do less than an acre when you're connecting to city services. Commercial general does not give that same option. So we met with them a week or 2 ago to do our regular pre-development meeting that we always have at the office with developers and staff. And I came across the planned unit development option, which does allow a greater density to occur. When you do a planned unit development, you have to have a minimum of 5 acres for the development and some additional criteria, which includes this meeting. So that's what we directed the applicants to do, to see if this is something that they could work within instead of having to decrease lots to create larger lots to have something that would actually fit more on a city boundary to be annexed in the future with a greater density.
Matt?
Yes.
So what are we talking about? So right now you're going to go in, you're going to do PUD. So you are going to hook up to city sewer and water right now?
Yes.
Okay. So are you thinking on the commercial side, or are you going to do a full residential?
Commercial.
Commercial. Okay. All right. So, all right. I have kind of a little twist on this because I typically don't like PUDs that are commercial. I would actually recommend and push mainly to the city because they're going to be your main driver anyway. When you go to start building on this, realistically, as soon as you sign, are they in contact? Will they have contiguity with the city? How long? Where are they at?
At some point, yes, probably by...
There's supposed to be a whole section that's getting annexed in here really quick, like in the next month.
This is not part of that.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because realistically, where you're going, what you're going to do, you're really going to be in the city.
Commissioner, next stage is them, which is within the next year.
Okay. So I don't mind, so really, when you start getting into PUD, what you don't want to create is you don't want to create an issue that you do something, because a PUD is for a development that will be, you'll meet the general intent of the ordinance guidelines and rules, but you'll have special abilities to do inside of what you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But what you don't want to create is a special area that's in one municipality or governing body, and then you're transferred to another one, and then you're really out of whack. And that's where just some of those issues, for your overall plan, are you going to be fairly close mirroring what the city of Pocatello is going to have for their planning, zoning, and building in the future, or are you going to be
We haven't
really
looked at
out?
that yet, because it's kind of a catch-22, because
See
we're
where you're at?
trying to fit into the county, and
Okay.
you can't plan for the city if you're not in the city, so we gotta
Yeah.
fall, as far as I understand, we gotta fall by county rules, and then, it's like we're adopted to the,
See, what we don't want to do is we don't want to give you special disposition to be a PUD in the county, and then you're annexed into the city, but then those parcels and things are not, there's no grandfathering once you go in. Then you have to meet their criteria. And the problem is, what we don't want to do is create parcels or land divisions that are great for us and work just fine, but once you become part of the city, they're not authorized or allowed. Because then we just created an issue where you will have a problem with doing your development.
Okay, so the reason, Commissioner, that we're here is for the fact that if they fell strictly under our guidelines without a PUD, every parcel or lot that they create would have to be a minimum of an acre.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't work for their overall vision and their plan relative to a commercial development.
Okay.
The only option that we have under our ordinance legally is to do a PUD, because then that allows a greater density.
So if your density, and that's what I'm getting at, is that density on, once you allow that,
Right.
that's going to be in line with the city of Pocatello.
More so with the
Okay.
city of Pocatello. We're
That's
trying
what we want to
help them
make sure.
become more in line
that
with the city.
we don't put you at odds with the city. Hey, this is great, go ahead, do this. Well, then down the road in a year or whatever they annex you, you're not into building on some of these lots yet. The people that buy those lots or yourself go to apply for a building permit, and they're like, oh, you don't meet our ordinances, you can't do that. That's what we just want to make sure that we're not doing, because those are the bad issues. Other than that, build it so when they tax it.
And we have had conversations with the city of Pocatello too concerning road building and
Okay.
compliance with their ordinances as well, so.
So that's part of my question here. What is the plan for road building and stuff? Because we own the ground to the west and to the north, so that road that goes through there, what is the plans, kind of?
So at our pre-development meeting, Kyle had suggested that we would need to do a cul-de-sac at the end of that drive so that it's not connecting to Darby. I think the developers would like that connection if possible, and maybe they can discuss that a little bit further here. But after our pre-development meeting, that was our initial.
So we're actually trying to get rid of all access up there with the jail and what's up there, evidence, storage, all that kind of stuff going on. We don't really want people up there at all. We prefer, keep that your own area, but we don't want cars by the jail. We were trying to keep people, get as much standoff as we can. So we bought that piece of property, actually it's to the east of the road that whoever put their stuff on there is going to get a nice fine. I thought you guys were the ones that did it. I was like, well, this meeting's going to be, you're going to get out. There's going to be some, so
So we told the sheriff not to show up.
But that's really, and actually that kind of works for you guys as well. You'd have to have a cul-de-sac there, or turn it the other way and bring it back the other side if you had access. But really, I just cul-de-sac at the end and bring it back.
the tough part for us is when we don't own that north boundary, that kind of, that would make an offset cul-de-sac. So my thoughts, when I looked at the whole thing, was thinking the jail didn't have, or the sheriff's department didn't have a fire turnaround. So with connecting those two roads, it would give the jail secondary access, or like the fire that just happened a month or so ago up above, it gives a second egress to get from the top down, where these other property owners could come across and come through us instead of coming by the jail.
And I think there's a possible conversation that could be had, but probably not in a public meeting, and you need to have it with one of the commissioners, and there are some plans in the works.
Okay.
That there are some things that are happening that I would just,
They're kind of stalled right now.
yeah, but there's some conversations happening that it would probably, maybe, but it just wouldn't be a through traffic, but it would probably be able to facilitate the turnaround and some of that other stuff. So just so you know.
Okay. The planning board. Questions, concerns, comments, input?
this moment, I don't have, what are you thinking?
I'm just wondering what they're going to do for access to, looks like parcel 5. Would that be accessing off Fifth Avenue, or is that going to come off Darby Road?
I believe that one has an existing access off of Fifth
Yeah, it's an
as it
existing
sits.
quasi-residential access though, right?
Yeah,
Probably has access on both sides.
yeah, it does.
See, and that side of Darby isn't gonna get shut off. You could probably still do that if there was a way to play. Are you gonna tear those buildings down, or what are you gonna do with those buildings?
No, the plan is to remodel.
Okay.
Right, so you're going to have like 5 accesses in 400 feet? 500
On
feet?
Fifth South, or?
Yeah, on South Fifth, is what you're really talking about.
Well,
You won't specifically, but there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 accesses in about 500 feet.
I only see 3 on South, well, unless you go to the existing neighbors, is that what we're?
That's, it's all, I mean, between Darby Road and the next road, or the next, this end parcel down here, there's 1, 2, you're proposing, there's 3, 4, 5 right now.
And really, we could eliminate the one on the corner building on South Fifth and maybe access on Darby if that was possible.
Not if they're going to close Darby.
Well, the closure would be up closer to the jail. You'd still have some access, but not.
Have access.
That's my only concern, is that we wind up with like 1 million accesses on the South Fifth, which is not a problem for the state, but it is a problem for the county and eventually for the city.
Yeah.
And it's too tight there, really, to be a real access.
The other problem is that you get school traffic in there, and so if you have too many unanticipated accesses, you're begging for sideswipe accidents with high school students.
Right.
Ryan, have you had any conversation with the crane company about coming off of your access road into their property rather than off like that?
No, I don't, like I said, we just want to make sure we don't create an issue down the road, and whatever we can do to facilitate it. PUDs get kind of messy sometimes because you get such a different plan going on in place that then, especially if they change municipalities, that's where you really cause the problem. But if you're basically building in line with what Pocatello would be in the future when you go in, knowing that you'd meet all their requirements and that fits as a PUD, I'm okay with that. That's what we want to make sure happens. The road access issues, water, sewer, those things that we want to really address that way, and then maybe some of that other stuff would be my guidance.
To give you just for reference, the ARG circle that has been torn down and is being rebuilt, I believe that is either 55 or 6/10 of an acre. To give you an idea on how that would work, their largest parcel or lots are going to be about 8/10 of an acre.
Okay.
So in regards to a smaller business size, they function relative to what the city would be looking for that size of business. They're not looking for parcels large enough for a new grocery store
Yeah.
or, a Target or something else that, superstores. They're looking for smaller businesses with the
Building sites.
Ryan, you might share with the commission of what it is that you do and what you're looking for your own business functions in this subdivision.
I've got a couple businesses, and one of them actually is how we got up here, long story short, is we service a lot of grocery stores, Mavericks, and they had a problem with having people up here take control, or take care of them, actually. We had subcontractors doing it for us, the job wasn't getting done, so we have accounts that are 20 and 30 accounts that we had to come up here to service. So I talked to the wastewater plant about maybe letting us come into there, because they have a big problem about their grease traps not getting serviced and their stores getting backed up and their sewer lines having issues because, so basically what we need is a lot to build an office there to where we can put some trucks in and keep them, climatized during the winter so we can be efficient when we come up to do business and take care of those customers. So the reason we got to the development was we couldn't find a lot that was suitable to buy anywhere. I mean, the only lot we found was, it was pretty blighted and it was very expensive. So I just seen there was a little niche there and a need to where, a plumber or a electrician, HVAC guy, there's nowhere for them to go. There's nowhere to lease, there's nowhere to buy anywhere near, so.
Not to pry into where you're going or your businesses, but Is there any concerns with the jail being the neighbor?
No.
That's something we don't want in the future to get a headache with.
As long as you lock the doors, it's probably pretty good.
Actually, we haven't had anybody walk off from ours in a really long time.
You need some work with these people?
I mean, no, and that's just, like I said, that's just been, this is, I don't have a problem with it. Address some of the questions. The access on South Fifth, yeah, if we can make sure that we're not creating 5 or 6 turnoffs, make sure you have water, sewer, done that way. The trees on the corner, just make sure that they're always clipped, because that death triangle coming out of the jail sometimes on Darby turn left. Before I think you purchased the property, you couldn't see around that if your life, there was a couple accidents right there.
And I believe all those have been removed.
I'm pretty sure they were the last time I was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a request for us to pay for it.
Yeah, no. I was like, yeah, we'll do it, and we'll send you a bill.
Commissioner Huff?
No, Commissioner Tony hit my things on the, as well. I just want to make sure you build it with Pocatello in mind, which you've done that. The access has been somewhat addressed, so I'm comfortable moving forward with, I think this is a well-needed type of thing for the growth in that area, so I support that.
Commission, I'm going to ask Tristan to read just one sentence from the ordinance about this meeting.
So this is section 510.5, sketch plan initial review. The last sentence reads, "The purpose of this meeting shall be to make the prospective developer of a project aware of concerns which might affect the proposed development."
Okay.
Therein lies your purpose. So-
You've been made aware.
And if the commission understands that we're a greater density than what's allowed by ordinance, but we are allowing that because they are connected to city sewer and water, it makes sense to behave more like the city until the city takes them. Okay?
Agreed.
I'm good with it.
And the reason that the council is here is because when this then goes before them, they're aware of all of the exceptions in this meeting that have been made so that they don't look at why is it not an acre, or why is it not this, or why is it not that. They're aware of what we're doing with
But it still goes forward, they'll work with your office, they'll go through the council, and then there'll be a public hearing
They'll
later.
follow the formal subdivision process all the way through, and eventually it will end up to the commission for signature for final plat.
Okay?
Any other questions, comments, concerns that we can help you with?
I'm good with it. It's a great improvement.
Yep, I hope the area.
Already.
We just find the guy that put all the stuff on our property. We'll be good.
The only other item is that it's probably not mentioned in this meeting, but as you go forward with the gentleman's name on the property.
We won't discuss it in an open meeting because it's,
That's the discussion point offline.
Okay.
but we are making headway there.
Okay, perfect.
So,
Just so that they're aware.
yep, that's,
Yeah.
so we need to, he has agreed to share the cost of an appraisal.
Okay.
And so we just need to order that. So,
Okay. With that being said, we